this independent dialogue to interrogate national issues which affect people from day to day, and also to try and encourage discourse in rebuilding the country.
Today's dialogue is co-sponsored by the U.S. Embassy through my office, the Public Affairs section. A lot of what we do in the Public Affairs section is done for and with young people.
Our topic for today is, does the youth have a role in rebuilding Zimbabwe? We look upon our youth that as they have been given the privilege of education, they have been given the privilege of learning, and the independent dialogue is there for them, they can probably learn to protect some of these little freedoms that we still have.
Zimbabwe, the youth in Zimbabwe constitute about 67% of the population. But we've had two major events that have happened in the last 3-4 years. We are talking about the 2008 election, and we are talking about the referendum. If you look at the statistics of youth participation in those events, you will see that the statistics are scary and negligible. The young people are not participating in this process.
There is an agreement amongst all the youth institutions that in rebuilding Zimbabwe, youth have a role.
Ladies and gentlemen, the youth have got a role to play, a very critical role to play in the rebuilding of Zimbabwe.
The fact that we're here today talking about rebuilding Zimbabwe means something has gone wrong.
But the question is, what
the
is
first
wrong?
one, in terms of social cohesion, there has been so much social disintegration in Zimbabwe, and the youth have a role to play. First of all, the issue of education. So many people where you come from can't afford to go to school. What can you do to bring about literacy very close to them? That's something you can do. In terms of integrity, there's so much corruption. When you see a police officer, what do you do? What difference do you make in that small space? You can actually become a key source of integrity, rebuilding integrity in terms of getting Zimbabwe to the next level.
And the way we see it in the NDC, from our point of view as the young people, we actually think that the rebuilding exercise of Zimbabwe is actually a continuation of the liberation.
Youth must join those institutions that get voted for and make sure that they occupy leadership positions in those institutions so that they can influence.
So the more we are aiming at a better Zimbabwe, the more this energy will be channeled in achieving a holistic Zimbabwe that's truly transformed.
It is extremely important for political institutions in this country to be so receptive of the views of the youth, regardless of their political orientation.
I have a comment to the panelists, especially the political parties, guys. You came up with no, maybe, discussion that would show even your political party to me as a proposed voter. Because when you are asked, basically the question is a rhetoric. Do we as a youth have a role to play in nation building? It's a definite yes. But you kept on insisting on yes, 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 yes. We need to know the strategies that you have of inclusion of young people and the policies that you have as a party and what you are doing to implement those.
I'd live to see young people in schools like high schools getting to participate in things that they're told is nation building, but really it does not build them. It does not build the country they're going to live in 10 years from now.
We must come up with an economic model that ensures that all young people are able to access it. The current trend which we see in ZANU-PF is an economic model which continues to empower those that are already empowered and which continues to increase the gap between the rich and the poor.
I think it's normal that every generation blames the one before it. If we look at the youth today, they may feel dispossessed, by the present group of politicians. But my message is there is no need to cry, but for the youth to take charge of their destiny.
And to you, Mr. Ambassador, may I plead with you? We have learnt a lot from the Americans and from the British. And let me plead, therefore I want to say, Your Excellency, Ray, stop investing in museums. Stop trying to teach old dogs new tricks. Put your money in the youth assemblies.
I would just point out a couple of things as I was listening. One, when you talk talk about the practical reasons for considering the youth as part of the rebuilding of Zimbabwe, it has to be kept in mind is that youth make up the vast percentage of the population, and they will be the inheritors of that rebuilt Zimbabwe, so they should have growth. And the other, it strikes me as rather interesting that the people in power exclude the youth when they themselves were youth when they took power. And I think that we need to do more of this, engaging young people in building the kind of world that they want to live in.